Chelsea Handler should not be hosting a discussion on white privilege. There are plenty of reasons of why she should not be reaping the benefits of a Netflix special about systematic racism and the privilege that has allowed colonizers to undermine an entire diaspora. Hey guys, I'm Jody, head smart brown girl in charge. If you are new here, welcome to the party. Be sure to subscribe. And I need everyone, I mean, this sounds so juvenile, but really that like button, girl, it matters. Boy, guy, hi, you, them, they. The like button and commenting along, because dialogue and discussion and all that engagement helps so much, you know, sharing. Don't forget to share. And if you enjoy this content and you want to see more, I'm posting exclusive content, videos, and podcasts on Patreon. Pop Snark Podcast exclusively on Patreon. That's that. On the call to actions, you can always shop Smart Brown Girl. Stay west and unbothered pillows. Stay so beautiful. Now let's get into this topic. Chelsea Handler has a Netflix documentary entitled Hello Privilege, It's Me, Chelsea, where she explores the impacts of white privilege on American culture. Like, sure, sis. So we open with her acknowledging her own privilege as a blonde-haired white woman in comedy who admittedly partly got by on looks. And then less than 5 minutes into the documentary, we have Chelsea joking with Tiffany Haddish about having a Jewish man die inside of her. Because yes, white privilege is Chelsea never having to perform comedy on the bat mitzvah circuit. Chuckle, chuckle, hee hee. I definitely want to be kind to Tiffany, and I definitely hope Kevin's recovery is going okay, but yeah. But about Tiffany, I want to give her grace because first of all, in the exploration of white privilege, it is not for the black community to come up with the solvent for their own oppression. So Chelsea posing the question to Tiffany and Kevin about what would they tell white people really should be a question Chelsea answers herself now that she supposedly understands who white privilege works for and how she's benefited the demise of others because of it. But again, for Tiffany to respond that we don't know our ancestry is the biggest, or was the biggest problem, or is the problem, or a thing that she wanted to inform white people about. It's like, of all the things that play here, my half-Abisha sister, a tribal lineage is really the bulb of the problem? I don't get it. Then do we get to what I believe is this a slam poetry, like very black, right? That's why it's featured in so many documentaries about black American anything. Slam poetry is the culture. And I mean, no shade to the art of poetry because it is in the canyon of blackness and it's very important. But whatever, we have Professor Jody Armour, I'm gonna put their name right here in the picture. A law professor from University of Southern California, who was half Colin Kaepernick with the fro, half Carnell West with the fro. I can't really just quite place it, but it was a definitely very interesting look. And we get a very brief blurb from the professor before, again, Chelsea is asking the blacks to explain white privilege to her. Now, this is really my bigger beef with Netflix and Chelsea, because who profits from this? Are any of the black people featured compensated for their time and intelligence? Or does Chelsea simply profit from giving a sad face with no pushback for an hour? Like, what is this? But for real, shout out to the black woman who said she was embarrassed to be in that room and she knew all Chelsea was fitting to do was take, girl, accurate. And I'm just as tired as you is. So at about the 10-minute mark, after that very tough, so tough conversation, Chelsea in her chauffeured vehicle realizes it's time to stop asking the blacks for solutions to problems caused and upheld by the whites. Oh wow, did we reach the epiphany Netflix played her to have? I see you, sis. So in comes Tim Wise, a white man who has done some decent and valuable work around anti-racist activism. And I appreciate that he lays plain what white privilege is and how it works. And I have no qualms about this or any of his segments. If anything, it really could have just been Tim Wise documentary and we all would have been better off. But this is also where I'm remiss. I have been trying behind the scenes for years to get funding to produce content around the work of Brian Stevenson, Equals Justice Initiative, and the National Memorial for Peace and Justice that Chelsea pulls up to in Montgomery, Alabama, and talks to the very good sis Ruby Sales about the history of lynching in America. And I'm constantly told we don't have a budget for that because I ain't got an agency. I'm not Hollywood. That's just how we works out here on the YouTube streets of upholding the same barriers of old Hollywood that they claim to be breaking down. That's tea for another day, sis. It's just the way the world of access and equity are so assuredly kept at the reach of us. It's like a hamster wheel we can't never get off of. Anyhow, I don't want to get stuck on giving a play-by-play. I was elated to see Dr. Carol Anderson, a black woman historian at Emory University, talk about voter suppression. It was just great and awesome to see the black community activists. Great, awesome again. But if this is about white privilege and challenging how white people understand it, we're doing a lot of talking to black people, which, as hard as Chelsea might claim these conversations are, they are also comforting for her. They make her feel altruistic. It's like she's self-martyring, you know, giving her a sense of moral authority as a white person who is acknowledging her white privilege, even if she does nothing to counter it. How cute. We finally at some point get to the white people, and girl, the softball questioning. I done already said I'm tired and I am now exhausted. I don't entirely mind the positioning that this reckoning of white privilege is a modern undertaking, that white people historically have not had to confront it, and all the explanations for the pushback and the blind ignorance. I definitely get it when Tim Wise discusses it. But my biggest issue really is how much time and insight we get from the black people and Tim Wise, who's active in the anti-racist black community. But Chelsea plays softball with the white people, and particularly the conservative white women from Orange County. Like, you know, when she asked them what kind of privilege do black people get, well, college admission, and she's like, yeah. Like, no, that's not actually accurate. We shouldn't just allow that sort of misinformation to slip by, to just accept their takes that are in no way based on fact. This isn't even a subjective debate. They got their ahistorical conservative hot takes in, and they're hardly, if at all, challenged. And even if she challenged them in a compassionate manner, I don't expect her to like yell at them or lambast them, but she could have had them maybe parse out their line of reasoning that concluded that college admissions was a privilege of being black. Because I would like to know how and what kind of mental gymnastics got her to that point. It would be very interesting to me. The icing on the cake is that Chelsea is clearly more comfortable talking to black folks and the white people that love us. I mean, I'm trolling. But she has all the questions and time for them and can't even sit with her people who are swimming in the privilege just like her. But it turns out the good Judy Chelsea was impregnated by a black man named Tashawn in Tennessee and got an abortion when she's 16 years old. That really just let me was like, how are we just understanding our privilege now in 2019? How? I don't understand the trajectory of your woeful ignorance. It's not adding up for me. You know, and maybe this was, and it's just like, of course there was a precursor to our relationship with 50 Cent. And that ain't even the gag. That ain't even the gag. The gag is that Tashawn went to jail for 14 years and Chelsea was airlifted out of the entire situation, getting off scotch-free with the police, allowing her to go on and flourish in her white woman existence. So when she sits down at his grandmother's house with his mom and his grandma and him and talks about, you know, it's kind of like B-roll clips where she's talking about how she got pulled over by the police with him and she was able to go home without any problems, and how he got caught up in the system because clearly being black is dangerous in America. And Chelsea went on to be a celebrity. A woo. I am entirely like, I don't think the documentary was effective. I feel like it was a lot of martyrdom, you know, of the self-invoked, I am a martyr of my people, for my people, and them understanding white privilege. It is very interesting with Netflix history, particularly with how they pay black performers and how they not only they pay black performers, but how they promote and advertise series with diverse casts. It's real interesting that Chelsea got the coin and this popped up on my homepage. That's like, yes, sis, you need to watch this. It wasn't it. It ain't it. And it wasn't good. All right. Thanks for watching. As always, you can find me over on Patreon with exclusive content and podcasts, and I will see y'all all later. Deuces.